What's going on, guys? It's Johnny from 900 Lives, and I just wanted to tell you that I'm finally getting to upload this video. Zach and I recorded this video in like mid-January, and we're now just getting to upload it. I kind of forgot about it for a while. I was going to upload it like as soon as possible, but then I just forgot about it. So anyway, this is a Spongebob Theory video. It's something we've never done before. Yeah, like we said, I'm going to tell you a couple things. A good amount of these things might not be true, and a good amount of these things might be true. So if you disagree with anything in this theory, please let me know. I will post that in part 2, which I don't know when that'll be uploaded. And if you agree with anything in the theory, please also leave a comment and give me a suggestion on what theory Zach and I should do next. I'm sorry that this is taking a while. Also, I just kind of got lazy editing at the end. I just wanted to get this video uploaded as soon as possible. I didn't want to wait any longer. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed this theory. I'll talk to you all later. Thanks for watching.
What's up, guys? It's Johnny, 900 Lives here, and this is a video that I don't usually do, but today I decided to do it because it was very interesting of me to think about this franchise, think about this show, how much I watched it as a kid, and sometimes I still watch it to this day. So first off, I don't think anyone hasn't heard of the great Nickelodeon cartoon SpongeBob SquarePants. This show makes kids laugh to this day, as I used to watch it and sometimes still watch it today. Starting off in 1999, the show has gone on for almost 17 years now. But when you're watching the shows, you don't think about some of the important questions that have been left unanswered. Like, why is Squidward so annoyed of SpongeBob and Patrick in the first place? What is going on behind the scenes of the characters? How old is the Krusty Krab franchise? And even how old are all of the characters? That is the first question I'm going to cover. So first, you get the main characters: SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, Plankton, Sandy, and Gary. First off, we all know that these characters have aged 16 years based on the timeline of the show. SpongeBob is older than you think. He may think he's 16 because of his license, but he isn't. Look at this picture from one of many episodes where SpongeBob actually gets his license in his dreams, but then it gets removed. Look at the date of birth listed as July 11th, 1986. Today, this makes SpongeBob 29 years old. Now, we also have a license from Mr. Krabs. Look at this date of birth, November 30th, 1942. Today, making him 73 years old. What about Patrick? Well, there isn't too much information to back it up, but he is born of February in 1978, making him at least 37 years old today. And Squidward, well, he knows that he is older than both Patrick and SpongeBob based on his personality. My guess is that he'd be around 55 years old. Also, he is a cephalopod, meaning he is an octopus. Told you. We can also infer that Plankton is just about as old as Mr. Krabs because they've been friends ever since they were little kids. The biggest one, those, are Sandy and Gary. Sandy is obviously younger than both SpongeBob and Patrick because she is in much better condition and isn't afraid to show off that squirrel body of hers. The lifetime of an average land squirrel is 6 to 12 years, inferring that she is about 10 years old, surprisingly. Gary comes in the bigger question, though, because the only thing we know is that he is obviously either 16 years old or older because of the length of the series, and SpongeBob has had him since the first season. In fact, the lifetime of an average sea snail is about 2 to 25 years. So now that the ages of the characters are out of the way, there are still a good couple more questions that need to be unanswered, like why can't SpongeBob actually pass his driver's test? Well, there is one clear detail. SpongeBob is mainly only seen driving a boat when he is taking his test, meaning that he is most likely doesn't drive any other time than taking his test. Yet he does know how to drive a sandwich because you don't need a license to know how to drive a sandwich. He knows the rules of driving, but whenever he takes the test, it seems like he gets amnesia and forgets the rules of the road. But if you dig deeper, there are still some facts that some people have never known about SpongeBob. The Krusty Krab restaurant is actually modeled after a lobster trap. Here's a comparison. I didn't know until I'm learning just as much as you guys. In fact, SpongeBob was destined to become the undersea favorite fry cook because his first words were, "May I take your order?" But besides that, there are some pretty disturbing fan theories out there. One being from an anonymous Reddit user who thinks that the world of SpongeBob is from a result of nuclear testing. The Reddit user says the existence of SpongeBob and his strange friends is a result of radiation from nuclear arms testing that was performed on the Bikini Atoll in the late 1940s and early 1950s. Since they live under the atoll, the town is known as Bikini Bottom. Another person says that all the main characters are actually on drugs. SpongeBob is on meth, Patrick being a stoner, Squidward on heroin, Krabs on coke, and Sandy Cheeks being an alcoholic because she ruins every episode that she is in. This could be true for a couple reasons. One, I guess, being that Mr. Krabs is kind of like the coked up drug kingpin, Bikini Bottom's own Scarface. I mean, does this mean in a future episode that SpongeBob will lose all of his dignity and teeth? Or maybe the creators were just stoned when they thought of the show. The theory does bring up some more questions about the story of SpongeBob. One more theory is the security footage theory. In the double episode Truth or Square, SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs walk into a room showing cameras of each of the main characters' houses. Mr. Krabs puts the footage of characters together to create one of the episodes. He also makes things up. Here are some examples. Neptune and his family don't exist. This is just what Mr. Krabs thinks Neptune looks like. The constant destruction of Bikini Bottom is just exaggerating items falling off a shelf or fragile jars dropping. There is some key evidence in these theories, but hey, people are making memes, pictures, animations, and theories about true facts SpongeBob. But take a look at this picture. Read this. If your life sucks, think about SpongeBob's life. Life is a mess. Works in a fast food joint with no future. Works for a stingy boss who always out to cheat his money and asks him to do more things. Best friend is a jobless retard. Pet Snail seems smarter than him. All those statements do say a lot about SpongeBob's life, and of all those, the most strong ones are works for a stingy boss and best friend is a jobless retard. This is where the drug theory could come in. Does SpongeBob really care about his friend being retarded, or worry, or working for a boss who will give like $5 on their paycheck? No, he doesn't. He could be on meth, which is why he doesn't care about any of those feelings. Going away from the characters, there are even more questions that could be answered. Like, how could there be fire underwater? Fire needs three things to live: heat, fuel, and oxygen. As far as I know, there is no oxygen underwater whatsoever, meaning that it is scientifically impossible for there to be fire underwater. Just like Goo Lagoon, how can there be a beach underwater? There can't, as long as characters can go actually to the shores and go to that beach. Which also can't happen because all the fish who would go to Goo Lagoon almost every day would die from being out of the water. But hey, it's cartoon science, so physics and science right now don't really apply. There isn't too much questions left about other things, so hey, why is Squidward so grouchy in the first place? Surely the answer could be having SpongeBob as a neighbor, but I'm talking about before that. A good answer could be is that he fails at his passion, playing the clarinet, becoming a professional artist, having to work for a cheapskate boss and an annoying character at a fast food joint every single day, and the most important thing, nobody besides SpongeBob and Patrick actually say they like him. You hear SpongeBob and Patrick say it all the time, but Squidward is always not listening to them because he hates them. They ruin almost everything he does. I mean, I hate him too. I feel like we've been leaving out a character of this entire theory. Plankton. One of the most downing questions about Plankton is, why can't he steal the Krabby Patty formula, even though he is smarter than almost everyone else on the show except for Sandy? Well, one of the answers could be that luck is never in his favor. We see that countless times Plankton has had the worst luck when trying to steal the formula from the Krusty Krab. He usually has a foolproof plan, but always luck doesn't go his way. Another reason could be that he rushes his projects. A good amount of times we also see that Plankton didn't really read his plans carefully, and his plans begin to fail. I am going to read you a final theory and tell me what you think. This is the SpongeBob car crash hallucination theory from the website Wattpad.com. Here we go. People can tell you anything they want, but this is how SpongeBob actually started. The man who would eventually come up with the idea for SpongeBob had a history for DUI. He had been in court many times before, with his mother always having to bail him out, but this time, court would not be needed. After a night of drinking at the bar, he decided to drive off and go home. He went alone and had no designated driver. He stumbled and tripped as he walked to his car. He drove about 2 miles before getting into a serious car accident. His car spun off the road and hit a nearby tree. He was immediately rushed to the hospital by helicopter. He miraculously survived the crash, but with a price. In the crash, he had sustained a very bad head injury. His brain would not work properly for the rest of his life. The doctors decided it'd be best if he was put into a coma. During the coma, the man had sustained very bad dreams, extremely messed and disturbed dreams. In his dream, he was taking the role of an underwater sponge named SpongeBob SquarePants. who had no control over himself or his actions. He had weird friendships with a continuously senseless starfish and an angered paranoid squid. And as his dreams progressed, his thoughts began to become so peculiar that even after he woke up from his coma, he still could not understand them. He would dream about doing odd things like blowing bubbles or using a butterfly net to catch jellyfish. A daredevil squirrel named Sandy was also created in his dreams. She would roam around ranting about Texas and trying to get SpongeBob to do certain dangerous things. After SpongeBob woke up from his coma, he did not come out the same. He told his mom and any other of his friends that he came across in the hospital. One of his friends was who was an agent who coincidentally worked for Nickelodeon. After telling this idea to his supervisor, and after adding several new aspects to the idea, a new animated series would be coming out. All the characters were products of his imagination. See, like's a good story, right? It proves a lot of points. I mean, it could have definitely happened and all seem to be very realistic. I mean, it probably isn't how SpongeBob began, but it is a very good theory about that. But even further, there's still one question that needs to be answered. Where does the meat and the Krabby Patty come from? In an episode, we see young Mr. Krabs trying to build his restaurant going up against Plankton. This episode is called Friend or Foe. The first time he makes a Krabby Patty, he uses chum as the meat, which is why everyone hates it. The second time, however, he changes the meat to an unknown meat, which everyone loves to this day. This also starts the feud between Eugene H. Krabs and Sheldon J. Plankton. What meat did Mr. Krabs change to? None other than good old fish meat. How do we know? Well, the definition of chum is bait consisting of fish parts, bone, and blood, which attract fish, particularly sharks, owing to their keen sense of smell. Ugh. Also, there is no possible way of Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob just getting meat from cows who are on land miles away from them. So they could resort to only one option, fish meat. Meaning that if this is true, everyone in the Bikini Bottom is a cannibal, and they have no idea that they are. But there is one true question that we haven't talked about this entire theory. What is the Krabby Patty secret formula? This is probably the most interesting question in this theory and definitely one of the hardest to answer. The Krabby Patty secret formula is crab meat. Let's look at the evidence. First off, we know that it isn't beef because they can't in their right minds get ground beef from the bottom of the ocean. Secondly, Mr. Krabs is the only crab in Bikini Bottom alongside his mother, and he is the only person in the entire town who knows the secret formula. Not even the favorite undersea fry cook SpongeBob knows what it is. Could he be killing other crabs and then using them for the patties? Another character who plays in this role is the Flying Dutchman. In one episode, SpongeBob and Patrick are captured by the Flying Dutchman, and the Dutchman wants to eat them. The Flying Dutchman was a sailor who lost his life trying to catch fish. What kind of fish? I would probably say none other than crabs. Crab fishing is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, killing over 1,000 people almost every year. I mean, just listen to the names. Krabby Patty, Krusty Krab. But there is one thing that put the nail in the coffin. In the episode Friend or Foe, Plankton and Krabs tear the recipe in half, with Plankton getting obviously the chum half of it, and Krabs getting none other than the crab meat. Also, look at this picture of the ingredients to the Krabby Patty. Notice that one of the ingredients says crab meat, meaning 100% that Eugene H. Krabs has been cooking up his own kind and serving it to the citizens of Bikini Bottom. Zach also has another theory about opium being the secret ingredient to the Krabby Patty.
Hello. And welcome. So basically, my theory stands strong with the straightforward facts that opium is it originated in East Asia, and as you can see now, which Johnny will put up a map of the world, that East Asia is near the Pacific Ocean, and Bikini Bottom, it takes place where?
At the Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean.
The Pacific Ocean. Opium originated around Asia. So, like, just plain crab meat, you'd think that the fish that were eating it would notice, right?
Yeah.
Well, opium is a very addictive drug
It is
used
the
in
main.
primarily heroin.
Yeah, it's the main ingredient of heroin.
So, what keeps getting these fish to come back and keep eating his secret ingredient Krabby Patties?
I,
Opium. He's using opium to lure these fish back in to eat more and more.
I mean, it seems like a explanational theory.
Why do you think in the one episode where Squidward gets locked inside the vault of the Krabby Patties that he eats one Krabby Patty and he eats more and more and more until his thighs literally explode? But I mean,
That
that's
is
with
a good
most of
point.
us.
That is a very good point. Well, leave your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think is the correct secret ingredient? Opium or crab meat?
No, no, no. My secret ingredient, I already know that it's crab meat. But the extra ingredient that we didn't get shown listed inside that list is opium. He's putting opium on the crab meat.
Do you guys think that opium is being put on the crab meat? Leave your thoughts in the comments. This is end of part 1 of this SpongeBob theory. I'll be back soon with part 2 on this cartoon's sick, twisted questions that still need to be answered.
Backing up! Backing up! Backing up!